Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in this video we will discuss top 200 most important and frequently asked multiple choice questions from physics. These questions are very important for your upcoming different types of entrance examinations. Now let's start with our first question. Which ray is used in radiotherapy? The right answer for this question is option choice D, gamma rays. Don't get confused radiotherapy with radiography. X-rays are used in radiography for the diagnostic purpose, whereas gamma rays are used in radiotherapy. Now let's move to question number 2. Melting of ice due to application of pressure is. By applying pressure, if we melt ice, such process is called resiliation, option choice A. Now let's move to question number 3. 40 degrees centigrade is equivalent to. We know that we have 4 types of scales. Now we need to convert 40 degrees centigrade scale into Fahrenheit scale. So we use this first relation, and in the place of C we write 40 degree, and after solving this we get F is equal to 104 degree. So 104 degree Fahrenheit, option choice B is the correct answer for question number 3. Now let's move to question number 4. Which of the following possess same property? We know that X-rays and gamma rays possess same property because they are chargeless and they are electromagnetic wave and they are not deflected by electric and magnetic field. Now let's move to question number 5. For the minimum deviation inside the prism, the angle of emergence should be equal to. Angle of emergence should be equal to angle of incidence for the minimum deviation, that is option choice B is the correct one. I must be equal to E. Now let's move to question number 6. The magnetic material which remains perpendicular to the non-uniform magnetic field is, such type of magnetic material is called diamagnetic material. Option choice A is the correct one for question number 6. Now let's move to question number 7. When a woolen sweater worn over a nylon shirt is removed, sparking is observed due to static electricity. Let's see the explanation. Static electricity is produced due to the friction between the two surfaces, and sparks observed in such case due to the transfer of electron between the oppositely charged surface. So option choice A is the correct one. Now let's move to question number 8. Gas which does not liquefy at room temperature by applying large pressure is. That gas is oxygen gas. Oxygen gas has very low critical temperature, hence it cannot be liquefied by applying pressure only. So option choice D is the correct one. Now let's move to question number 9. The temperature at which water vapor in the atmosphere is saturated is called, such temperature is called dew point. Dew point is the temperature at which air is saturated with amount of vapor present in it. Now let's move to question number 10. A person suffering from myopia is suggested to use. A person suffering from myopia is suggested to use concave lens. A person suffering from hypermetropia is suggested to use convex lens. Now let's move to question number 11. A bulb with 220 volt consumes the power of 60 watt. If it will be corrected with 160 volt, then power consumed by the bulb will be. In this case, resistance of the system remains constant. Only we are changing power, so that only we are changing voltage, so that power consumption is also changing. So we know that R is equal to V square by P. From this is P and this is P. From this 2 we find R. R will be 2200 divided by 3. By using same R and this voltage we find new power. New power will be 35 watt. That is in option choice D. Now let's move to question number 12. Emission of electron by the action of light is known as. If electrons are emitted by striking light on it, such phenomenon is called photoelectric effect. That is option choice B, photoelectric effect. Now let's move to question number 13. A hollow sphere of charge does not produce an electric field at any. If a hollow sphere is taken or hollow charge sphere is taken, then it produces electricity at any other this point, but inside the hollow sphere its charge is 0. If you see the expression, if this is a hollow sphere and a point outside the surface, its electric field will be this, and on the surface its electric field will be this, and inside it will be 0. So option choice A is the correct one for question number 13. Now let's move to question number 14. Rocket launched with escape velocity, follow the path. Rocket launched with escape velocity, follow the parabolic path. If velocity is less than escape velocity, if velocity is more than escape velocity, then path will be hyperbolic. Option choice A is the correct one for question number 14. Question number 15. The rate of loss of heat from a hot body depends on. According to Newton's law of cooling, rate of loss of heat from hot body depends on excess temperature of the body over the surrounding, or difference of temperature between body and the surrounding. That is option choice B. Now let's move to question number 16. RMS value of gas molecule is directly proportional to. We know that RMS value of gas is directly proportional to square root of temperature. Square root of temperature, because Vrms is 3 root under 3 RT by M. Here 3 R and M are constant. So option choice B is the correct one for question number 16. Now let's see question number 17. The phenomenon of acquiring temporary electrification under the influence of charged body is called, such phenomenon is called electrical induction. That is option choice B. Now let's move to question number 18. An ant moves forward with the plane mirror with speed 2 meters per second, and the mirror is moved towards the ant with the same speed. What is the relative velocity between the ant and its image? So for this case, you need to understand this statement. When an object and mirror both moves towards each other with velocity v, the velocity of image with respect to stationary observer will be 3v towards the mirror. So this is 3v, and relative velocity between ant and the image is, the ant and the image means 3v is the relative velocity, the velocity of image, and this is the velocity of object v. If they are moving in the same direction, so 3v minus v will give us 4v, and our v is 2 meters per second. By multiplying this 2 with 4, we get 8 meters per second. That is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 19. A book lying on the table remains there till eternity. This is called Newton's first law, or first law of motion. According to this law, a body at rest remains at rest, a body at motion remains at motion until and unless the external force is applied to it. So option choice C is the correct one for question number 19. Now let's move to question number 20. A man weighing 70 kg carries a weight of 10 kg to the top of a tower. This is tower 100 meter high. Then work done is, in this case work done is change in potential energy, and potential energy is given by mgh. This 70 kg plus 10 kg is our m, and 9.8 is g, and h is 100. So by solving this we get 78,400 joule. That is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 21. What are the feasible materials used in the atomic bomb dropped in Nagasaki and Hiroshima? Nagasaki is coming at first. So in Nagasaki, the bomb that was dropped was Pu-239, and in Hiroshima, the feasible material that was used was U-235. So option choice C is the correct one for question number 21. Now let's move to question number 22. The equation PV is equal to constant represents, this equation represents isothermal process. So option choice A is the correct one for question number 22. Now let's move to question number 23. Which of the following is dimensionless quantity? We know stress, Young's modulus, and pressure, they all have same unit. That is unit of pressure, that is force upon area, that is Newton per meter square. But strain is unitless, because strain is given by change in length per unit original length. So this is also length, this is also length, they have same unit, they cancel with each other, and this quantity becomes dimensionless or unitless. Now let's move to question number 24. A steel wire of length 1 meter and cross section area 2 meter square is stressed 1 millimeter by a certain force. What is the energy stored in the wire? We know that this is in SI unit, this is in CGS unit, and we need to convert this. 2 centimeter square will be 2 into 10 to the power minus 4 meter square, and this is 1 mm is equal to 1 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter. Now we know that the energy stored is given by half into force into elongation. Half into force into elongation. Elongation is this extension, here is 1 millimeter. Now we need to find force from this given expression, given information. Our length is 1 meter and area is, we have converted this area in meter square, elongation is also converted into meter, and Young's modulus is this. We know that Young's modulus is stress upon strain, and stress is force per unit area, and strain is change in length per unit original length. After solving this, we get our F, because these all are none except F, and F will be 4 into 10 to the power 4 Newton. Now we know that energy stored in wire is half into F into E. Our F is this, and our elongation is 10 to the power minus 3. So after solving this, we get 2 into 10 to the power 1, and that is option choice A. So option choice A is the correct one for question number 24. Now let's move to question number 25. Which of the following rays gets deflected by electric field? We all know that those rays or those particles gets deflected by electric field if they carry charge. Your X-rays, UV rays and gamma rays, they are chargeless, so they are not deflected by electric and magnetic field. Only the particle or only the ray that is deflected by electric field is alpha ray, because alpha rays are positively charged particles. Now let's move to question number 26. If the current in the electric bulb is drops by 2%, power will decrease by. We solve this question by using this method. Current decreases by 2% means di by I is equal to 2%, and we know that power is equal to I square R. Here current is changing, so power is changing, but resistance is constant. Now taking derivative, we get dp is equal to R will come here, I square will give us 2I di. Now let us divide this power by this relation by this. dp by p will give us R 2I di by p, and this p can be written as I square R. Now see, this I and this I will cancel, this R and this R will cancel. We get dp by p is equal to 2 times di by I. In fact, our di by I is 2, and 2 times 2 will be 4. So if current is reduced by 2%, power will be reduced by 4%. Option choice C. Now let's move to question number 27. Power of a bulb is 100 watt at 220 volt. When the voltage is 110 volt, power of the bulb is, we know that P is equal to I into V, that is V square by R. In this question, only power and voltage are changing, so resistance is constant. It means we can write P is proportional to V square. That means P1 by P2 will be V1 square by V2 square. This is our P1 and this is our V1. We need to find P2, this is our V2. By solving this, we get our P2 as 25 watt. That is option choice D. Now let's move to question number 28. The maximum number of electron in D subcell is, we know that in S subcell maximum number of electron are 2, in P 6, in D 10, and in F 14. If you see the gap, there is gap of 4 electrons. So option choice C is the correct answer for question number 28. In D subcell maximum number of electrons are 10. Now let's move to question number 29. When source and observer are moving in the same direction with the velocity of half of sound, then percentage of increase in frequency will be. This is from Doppler's effect. In Doppler's effect, we know that the apparent frequency is relative velocity of sound with respect to observer divided by relative velocity of sound with respect to source into natural frequency. In this case, source and observer are moving in the same direction, and we know that sound always travels from source to observer. So they are moving with half the velocity of sound. If v be the velocity of sound, then velocity of source will be v by 2, and the velocity of observer is also v by 2. Now for the first, this numerator part, relative velocity of sound with respect to observer, we need to see these two relations. If we see arrow are moving in the same direction, so we need to subtract this velocity with this velocity. So v minus v by 2 will come in the numerator. And if we see the denominator, we need to see the relative velocity of this sound with respect to source. In this case also, both arrow are moving in the same direction, and the denominator will be also v minus v by 2, because this arrow are in the same direction, so we need to subtract this velocity with this velocity. Now these both are same, so they cancel with each other. The apparent frequency will be exactly equal to the natural frequency, so change in frequency will be 0. If change in frequency is 0, then percentage of increase in frequency will be also 0%. Now let's move to question number 30. The Young's modulus of steel is 2 into 10 to the power 11 Newton per meter square, and density is 80 into 10 to the power 2 kg per meter square, then velocity of steel is, we know that velocity of steel is given by root under gamma by rho, and sorry, root under Young's modulus by rho, it's not gamma, root under Young's modulus y upon rho. So root under Young's modulus is 2 into 10 to the power 11 and rho is 80 into 10 to the power 2. Both are in standard unit. By solving this, we get 5000 meter per second. That is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 31. The wire has resistance 32 ohm. When the length is doubled, the percentage increase in resistance will be. In this case, just length is doubled. The wire is not stretched or not elongate. If wire is not stretched and not elongate, the area will remains constant. We know that R is equal to rho L by A. Rho is resistivity, which is always constant. In this case, area is constant. So R is directly proportional to L, which means we can write R1 by R2 is equal to L1 by L2. Here length is doubled, means original length be L and the final length L2 will be twice L. So L and L will cancel here. R2 will be 2 times R1 and R1 is 32 ohm. So that R2 will be 64 ohm, and for percentage increase, we need to find this del R by R into 100%. Our final R is 64, initial R is 32 divided by initial R, that is, this will give us 32, 32 and 32 will cancel each other. So 100% is the correct answer for question number 31, 100%. Now let's move to question number 32. Activity of 1.85 into 10 to the power 12 disintegration per second is nearly equivalent to. We know that there are 3 units of radioactivity. First is Curie, and 1 Curie is equal to 3.7 into 10 to the power 10 disintegration per second, which is also called DPS. And another is becquerel. Becquerel is called SI unit as well. 1 becquerel is equal to 1 disintegration per second. And last one is Rutherford. 1 Rutherford is 1 into 10 to the power 6 disintegration per second, or 1 into 10 to the power 6 becquerel. Now let us use unitary method to solve this question. We know that 3.7 into 10 to the power 10 disintegration per second is equal to 1 Curie. So 1 disintegration will be 1 divided by this quantity, and 1.85 into 10 to the power 12 disintegration per second is equal to 1.85 into 10 to the power 12 divided by this. So by solving this, what we get, this and this will give us 100, and this is 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 times 100 is 50 Curie, that is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 33. A particle is executing simple harmonic motion. The displacement of particle after 1 revolution is, after 1 revolution particle arrives to the same point, so displacement will be 0. If a particle is executing simple harmonic motion, it from this point A it goes to B and finally it arrives to the C for 1 revolution. So A and C are the same point, so displacement will be 0. Now let's move to question number 34. In alpha radioactive decay, which one of the following is true? In alpha radioactive decay, this parent nuclei changes to daughter nuclei by emitting this alpha. So its mass number is this A reduces to A minus 4. So A reduces to A minus 4, that is option choice B. This A is mass number is decreased by 4. So option choice B is the correct one for question number 34. Now let's move to question number 35. Line spectrum is given by, we know that line spectrum is given by atoms like helium, neons. So atom is the right answer for question number 35, that is option choice B. Now let's move to question number 36. Buoyancy depends on, buoyancy or buoyant force depends on mass of a liquid displaced, that is option choice D. Now let's move to question number 37. Kirchhoff's point law is conservation of, Kirchhoff's point law is conservation of charge, and Kirchhoff's loop law is based on conservation of energy. So question number answer for question number 37 is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 38. Velocity of sound is double the velocity of sound at 0 degree temperature. It means that if we have velocity v1 is equal to v, velocity v2 will be twice v at what temperature? We need to find the temperature. Initial temperature is 0 degree centigrade, that is 273 Kelvin. We need to find the another temperature at which the velocity of sound becomes double of the original velocity. So let's use this formula. v1 by v2 is equal to root under t1 by t2. v1 is v and v2 is double, means twice v, and t1 is 273 Kelvin because 0 degree centigrade plus 273, 0 plus 273. and T2 is equal to what? By solving this we get T2 is 1092 Kelvin, but our answers are in degree centigrade. So let's subtract 273 from 1092, we get 819 degrees centigrade. That is option choice. Sorry, this C is wrong one. Answer is option choice B. In Kelvin, option choice C is correct, but in degree centigrade, 819 degree centigrade is correct answer. Now let's move to question number 39. When air space in musical instrument is increased, what will increase? So the musical instruments are provided by a hollow surface so that air can be enclosed in that. If you see madal, if you see guitar, they are provided with hollow sphere. Then if we increase the air space, then it increases the loudness or intensity of sound, because intensity of sound depends on the vibration of particle. If more space, then more particle will vibrate, which give us more intensity or more loudness. Now let's move to question number 40. The specific heat capacity of ideal gas under isothermal condition is. The specific heat capacity of an ideal gas under isothermal. Isothermal means change in temperature is 0, and we know this relation C is equal to Q upon M d theta, and change in temperature this d theta is 0. That means something upon 0 is equal to infinity. So specific heat capacity of ideal gas under isothermal condition is infinity. That is option choice D. Now let's move to question number 41. Which expression is correct for the moment of inertia? We know that moment of inertia I is equal to m times r square. This is mass and this is the distance of distribution of particle from the given axis. So option choice C is the correct one for question number 41. Now let's move to question number 42. Which expression is not correct? If you see this expression, all three first expression are correct, but this D is wrong, because theta is omega t, but here it is written omega is equal to theta times t. So option choice D is the wrong one for question number 42. Now let's move to question number 43. Moment of inertia of a circular ring with mass m and radius r through its center and perpendicular to the plane. This is given by mr square. Option choice C is the correct one for question number 43. Now let's move to question number 44. A ballet dancer spins with 2.4 revolution per second with her arm outstretched, and the moment of inertia about axis is I. Let us write this information at first. It is saying F1 is equal to 2.4 revolution per second and I1 is I. Now what that dancer is doing, her arm, she is folding her arm and moment of inertia is now 0.6 I. So I2 is 0.6 I, now 0.6 I. Now we need to find F2. We know that I1 F1 is equal to I2 F2, that is conservation of angular momentum. Now let's use this formula. I1 F1 is equal to I2 F2, and we solve to find our answer 4 revolution per second. That is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 45. This is very important question. If Earth contracts to half of its radius, what will be length of one day? We know that Earth is a perfect sphere, so its moment of inertia is 2 by 5 mr square. If Earth contracts to half, its radius will be r by 2. This is new moment of inertia because of new r. That will be I by 4. Now we know that I1 omega 1 is equal to I omega, or I1 omega 1 is equal to I2 omega 2. Here our I1 is I by 4, new moment of inertia, and omega 1 is new rate of revolution or new omega, and I omega, we know that they are the original when Earth is in perfect shape, when its radius is not contracted. Now this I and I will cancel each other. Omega 1 is equal to 4 times omega. This omega is 2 pi by t and omega 1 is 2 pi by t1. After solving this, we get t1 is equal to t by 4. This t is normal t, that is 24 hour, and a new t will be 24 by 4, that is 6 hour. If Earth is contracted to half of its radius, the time period for the one day will be 6 hours, that is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 46. The center of mass of thin triangular plate lies on. For a triangular surface, the center of mass lies on its centroid, that is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 47. If there is change in angular momentum from 2 joule to 4 joule in 4 seconds, the torque is. We know that torque is change in angular momentum, that is 4 minus 2 is 2 divided by time period, that is what will we get, 1 by 2. 1 by 2 will give us 0.5. 0.5 is in option choice C. So option choice C is the correct answer for question number 47. Now let's move to question number 48. Moment of inertia of a body does not depends on. This is very important question. Moment of inertia of a body depends on mass of the body, position of axis of rotation and distribution of the mass, but it does not depends on the angular acceleration of the body. So option choice D is the correct one for question number 48. Now let's move to question number 49. The SI unit of moment of inertia is, we know that I is equal to mr square. This m is kg and r is distance, so it will be meter square. Option choice kg meter square is in option choice A, B, C. So C is the correct answer for question number 49. Now let's move to question number 50. The SI unit of torque is, we know that torque is, the SI unit of torque is Newton meter. Newton meter is the correct answer for question number 50. Now let's move to question number 51. Torque per unit moment of inertia is, we know that tau is equal to I times alpha. Question is saying torque per unit moment of inertia, that is tau by I, that is alpha. So alpha is angular acceleration, that is option choice D. So this torque per unit moment of inertia will be given by alpha, and alpha is angular acceleration, that is option choice D. Now let's move to question number 52. Which expression is wrong? If we see here, torque is I alpha, that is correct. Angular momentum, last alphabet of angular is R and last two alphabet of momentum are M and V. So M, V and R, this all last terms will give us angular momentum. This is also correct. Rotational kinetic energy K is equal to half I omega square. This is also correct. Option choice C is wrong. Moment of inertia is equal to tau times I is wrong. In fact, tau is equal to I times alpha. Now let's move to question number 53. Moment of inertia of a big drop is I. If 8 droplets are formed from it, then moment of inertia of small drop will be, we know that there is one big drop having mass m and moment of inertia I. Now we have divided this big drop into small 8 identical drops, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Then mass of each drop will be m by 8 because we have divided into 8 small part. And what will be its moment of inertia in comparison to the big drop? That is our question. Now let capital R be the radius of the big drop and small r be the radius of small drop. As all drops are of same size, so small r is the radius of each drop. So from this big drop we are forming these small drops. So volume of big drop will be 4 by 3 pi r cube, which will be exactly equal to the 8 times of the volume of one small drop. 4 by 3 pi small r cube. Now let us solve this question. We know that moment of inertia of big drop is 2 by 3 mr square. Sorry, 2 by 5 mr square. And mass of small drop is m by 8. We already discussed. And we know that 8 times volume of small drop is equal to volume of big drop. From this we get small r is equal to capital R by 2. And in this expression now we substitute our m by 8 and r by 2. And by comparing this I with this we get I by 32. So if we convert big drop into small 8 drops, our moment of inertia will be 32 times less than that of original moment of inertia. Option choice is C. Now let's move to question number 54. A rotating machine is maintained at a uniform angular speed of 150 rad per second with a torque 100 Newton meter. The power is, we know that power is given by torque times angular speed. So here torque is torque is 150, torque is 100 and angular velocity or angular speed is 150. After solving this we get 15,000 watt, which is 15 kilowatt. Option choice A is the correct one for question number 54. Now let's move to question number 55. In rotational motion, the physical quantity that imparts angular acceleration is, in rotational motion the physical quantity that imparts angular acceleration is torque. So torque is the right answer, option choice B. Now let's move to question number 56. A wheel of mass 10 kg has moment of inertia 160 kg meter square about its own axis. The radius of gyration is. In this question let's check at first unit are in standard SI unit. So we know that I is equal to mk square. We need to find k here. I is given as 160 and m is given as 10. So we need to find k here. So k will be root under 16, which will give us 4. 4 meter is in option choice C. So 4 meter is right answer for question number 56. Now let's move to question number 57. Spokes are used in bicycle because it provides steady and smooth motion. That is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 58. If a body shrinks, its moment of inertia is, we know that I is equal to mr square. If a body shrinks, r decreases. If r decreases, I also decreases. That is option choice A. Option choice A is the correct answer for question number 58. Now let's move to question number 59. Position of center of mass of particle depends on. We know that position of center of mass of a particle depends on mass of the particle and their relative position. Mass of the particle and their relative position. That is option choice A and B, both are correct for question number 59. That is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 60. A ballet dancer spins about a vertical axis 1 revolution per second with her arm outstretched. When our arm folded, the moment of inertia about axis decreases by 40%. This is same as with the previous question. We know that I1 is equal to ballet dance speed vertical about 1 revolution. F1 is given as 1 and let I1 be I. We need to find F2 is equal to what, and our I2 is 40% less means it is 60%. 60% is 0.6 I. This is our I2. Now use the principle of conservation of angular momentum, that is I1 F1 is equal to I2 F2 and our F2 will be 1.67. That is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 61. The time period of simple pendulum becomes doubled when. We know that time period of simple pendulum only depends on these two things, that is L by Z. So if you see our choice, this option choice B is wrong because T does not depend on mass, and the mass of the bulb, option choice D, is also wrong. Now let's see option choice A and C. This L is inside root under. So for double means this L should be 4 times. If we write 4L, then our T will be 2 into 2 pi root under L by Z. So this is the 2 times. So option choice C is the correct one for question number 61. If length is increased by 4 times, then time period of simple pendulum will be 2 times. A pendulum clock is taken to the top of Mount Everest or Mount, then what happens? Mountain, what happens? We know that T is equal to 2 pi root under L by Z. If we are taking our simple pendulum to top of the mountain, G will be less. If G will be less, T will be more. That is, it gains time. Option choice C is the correct one for question number 62. Now let's move to question number 63. Which statement is not correct about simple harmonic motion? The potential energy of particle executing simple harmonic motion is maximum at extreme position. This is correct statement. If this is simple pendulum, if it is reaching to the extreme point, its potential energy will be maximum because this is at the maximum position. Kinetic energy of particle executing simple harmonic motion is maximum at mean position. This is also correct because this is mean position, and at mean position particle has maximum velocity. If velocity is maximum, kinetic energy will be maximum because kinetic energy is equal to half mv square. The graph between energy and time in SHM is straight line. This is also true because total energy, if this is total energy and this is time, then total energy is always constant. Kinetic energy increases, potential energy decreases, and potential energy decreases, kinetic energy increases in such a order that total energy is always constant. So our answer for this question will be D because A, B, C are correct. We need to find which one is not correct. Now let us see question, option 4. The string of simple pendulum must be weightless, inextensible and inflexible. The string must be weightless, inextensible and perfectly flexible. So option choice D is the right answer for question number 63. Now let's move to question number 64. For a particle in simple harmonic motion, which parameter changes with time and position? So we need to know here this time period, frequency and total energy, this remains constant. Potential energy changes. Potential energy changes with position and time. For every position here, potential energy is continuously changing. Now let us move to question number 65 now. For a particle in SHM, which parameter remains constant with position and time? We know that displacement, velocity, acceleration changes, force changes, potential and kinetic energy also changes. Only things that remains constant is total energy, because we saw time energy graph, total energy is always constant. Now let us move to question number 66. In a damped oscillation, which phenomenon is observed? Damped oscillation is this type of oscillation. At first its amplitude is maximum and then it slightly reduces because of air or external forces. So frequency of oscillation decreases, this is correct. Time period increases, yes, this is also correct. Amplitude decreases, this is also correct. So all of above is correct for damped oscillation. Now let's move to question number 67. The phase difference between kinetic and potential energy in SHM is, this is pi by 2, that is option choice A. Now let's move to question number 68. When a 2 kg body is suspended by a spring, the spring is stretched, the body is pulled down slightly and released, it will oscillate up and down. What force is applicable on a body? The spring passes through the mean position. In this case, when the spring passes through the mean position, the force should be equal to the weight of the body, because at the mean position there is no acceleration. No acceleration means the resultant force will be 0. Resultant force will be 0 if force is equal to the weight of the body. Now let's move to question number 69. The maximum velocity of particle executing simple harmonic motion with amplitude, this is this. This means we have given here Vmax, velocity, maximum velocity is 4.4 meter per second, and amplitude is 7 mm, means we can convert this into meter by using this formula, this 7 into 10 to the power minus 3. Now we need to find the period of oscillation. We know that maximum Vmax is given by omega A, and our A is already there. We need to find omega from here. If we get omega, we can find T by using this formula, omega is equal to 2 pi by T, and our answer will be 0.01 second, that is option choice A. Now let us move to question number 70. Statement is saying that amplitude of oscillation, oscillating pendulum decreases gradually with time. This is true, this is damped oscillation. If external force comes in action, this happens, and reason is the frequency of pendulum decreases with time. This is not an exact explanation of this statement. The answer is option choice C. Statement is true but reason is false. Actual reason is because of damping force, because of the external force or friction. Now let's move to question number 71. The work done by a string of simple pendulum during one complete oscillation is, during one complete oscillation the pendulum arrives to the same point, net displacement is 0. If net displacement is 0, then work done will be also 0, that is option choice D. Now let's move to question number 72. In Hooke's law, F is equal to minus kx. The constant k is called, that is called spring constant, that is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 73. Which of these is a physical quantity which completely express the position and direction of motion of particle? For the position and direction of motion of particle, we must know phase, that is option choice C is the correct answer for question number 73. Now let's move to question number 74. F t is equal to sin 4 omega t plus pi by 4 has a period equal to, this is one function, and standard function is f t is equal to a sin 2 pi by capital T times small t plus phi. Here we need to find period, so we need to compare this term with this term, and t will cancel here with each other. So what we get, 4 omega will be equal to 2 pi by t, and by solving this we get our t as pi by 2 omega. Pi by 2 omega is option choice C. The length of second pendulum is, we know that t is equal to 2 pi root under L by G. Second pendulum is a pendulum having time period as 2 seconds. So here we will write 2, and we solve this by writing G is equal to 9.8, and after solving this we get length of second pendulum L as 99 point something. In round figure our answer will be 100 centimeter, that is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 76. For a simple pendulum we must have weightless string, this is true. Heavy pointed mass, this is also true. Inextensible and flexible string, this is also true. So all of above is right answer for question number 76. Now let's move to question number 77. The force constant of a string does not depends on, we know that force constant is given by F is equal to YA upon L. Y is Young's modulus, that is option choice C is correct. A, cross section area, that is also correct. Length of string, that is also correct. False or wrong statement is acceleration due to gravity. Force constant does not depend on acceleration due to gravity. Now let us move to question number 77. In simple harmonic motion, which one is not true? We know that in simple harmonic motion, displacement is always directed away from mean position. This is true. Acceleration changes in both magnitude and direction. This is also true. Restoring force is proportional to the displacement. This is also true. Restoring force and displacement act in the same direction. This is false because they act in the opposite direction. So option choice D is the correct one for question number 78. Now let's move to question number 79. A simple pendulum 4 meter long swings with an amplitude 0.2 meter. The velocity at the lowest point is, we know that at the lowest point velocity is maximum, and that is given by V is equal to A omega, that is called V is equal to A times omega. Here we know that amplitude, but we do not know our omega, and omega will be given by 2 pi by t, and t will be given by 2 pi root under L by z. By arranging them, by solving this, we get our required answer as 0.31 meter per second. That is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 80. A simple pendulum of 4 meter long swings amplitude with this, the acceleration is, we know that acceleration is given by A omega square, A times omega square. This A is amplitude and omega is given by 2 pi by t, and from this our right answer will be 0.49 meter per second square. Now let's move to question number 81. Hydraulic system works on the basis of, we know that the principle of hydraulic system is Pascal's law, that is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 82. In designing wings of aeroplane, which law is used? Bernoulli's principle is used. Sorry. Bernoulli's principle is used to maintain the difference in temperature between upper and lower part of a wings of a simple aeroplane, so that it gives required lift. Now let's move to question number 83. Unit of surface tension is, surface tension is force per unit length, so unit will be Newton per meter, that is option choice D. Bulk modulus is the ratio of, we know that bulk means related to volume, so if you see the options, option choice D, increase in pressure to the volumetric strain, this is right answer, option choice D. Now let's move to question number 85. 1 stroke. Stroke is unit of kinematic viscosity. Kinematic viscosity is also called dynamic viscosity, which is the resistance to movement of one layer of fluid over another layer of fluid divided by density of fluid, and 1 stroke is exactly equal to 10 to the power minus 4 meter square per second. Now let's move to question number 86. Free surface of liquid tends to contract to the smallest possible area due to the surface tension. Surface tension is the property by which liquid tends to contract to the smallest possible area, that is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 87. According to equation of continuity, the speed of water in waterfall increases if its surface area, we know that A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2, or A into B is constant, that is equation of continuity. It means if area increases, velocity decreases. If area decreases, velocity increases. Here the speed is increases, that is V is more, means A will be less, A will decrease, that is option choice B. Now let's move to question number 88. Angle of contact of pure water in glass is, for the pure water in clean glass, angle of contact is always 0 degree, that is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 89. Angle of contact varies between, we know that angle of contact varies between 0 to 180 degree, that is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 90. Water flows through a horizontal pipe of cross section area this, that means our area 1 will be 50 centimeter square, and speed V1 will be 15. The rises up to this is V2, V2 is 75. Here we need to find A2. By using equation of continuity A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2, our answer will be 10 centimeter square. Now let's move to question number 91. Reynolds number is low. Reynolds number is low for this all three cases: high viscosity, low density and low velocity. That is all of above is the correct answer for question number 91. Now let's move to question number 92. Raindrops falls with constant velocity due to, raindrops falls with constant velocity due to viscosity. Viscosity is option choice B. Now let's see question number 93. machine parts jammed in winter because increase in viscosity of lubricant. In winter temperature is low. If temperature is low, viscosity will be more. So that machine parts jams in winter. Question number 95. Which factor affects the surface tension? We know that all these three factors affect the surface tension. Mixing of impurities, temperature, mixing of highly soluble substances. So all of above, question number 94, all of above is the correct answer for question number 94. Now let's move to question number 95. Which statement is not true about surface tension? Option choice A, hot soup spreads over the tongue because surface tension decreases with rise in temperature. This is true. We already discussed that surface tension is inversely proportional to the temperature, and if temperature is more, surface tension is less, it spreads over a wide area. Lubricating oil and paints spread properly because they have low surface tension. This is also true. Antiseptics spreads over a large area because of low surface tension. This is also true. Surface tension of oil is more than that of water. This is false. In fact, surface tension of oil is less, so that oil spreads widely in stagnant water, and it is used to control the breed of the mosquito or breeding place of the mosquitoes. Now let's move to question number 96. The viscous force acting on a body, which is also called Stokes law, is given by F is equal to 6 pi eta RB. This eta is coefficient of viscosity. Now let's move to question number 97. Which one is not the application of Bernoulli's principle or Bernoulli's theorem? We know that lift of aeroplane is the principle of Bernoulli's theorem. Atmosphere is also a principle of application of Bernoulli's theorem, and blowing off roof in a stormy day is also the application of Bernoulli's theorem. Floating of needle on water surface is due to surface tension. So option choice D is the right one for question number 97. Now let's see question number 98. Bernoulli's equation in fluid dynamics is valid for. We know that Bernoulli's equation is valid for these 5 cases. If liquid is ideal, steady, incompressible, continuous, and irrotational. If you see our option choices, option choice C is the correct answer for question number 98. Question number 99. A square plate 1 meter side moves parallel to another plate with velocity this. Both immersed in water. If the viscous force is this, viscosity of the water is this, what is the distance between them? We know that this is F is equal to eta A dV by dx. According to this question, we need to find distance, that is this dx. Here this eta is coefficient of viscosity, this A is square plate means 1 meter. If length of 1 meter, if length of square plate is 1 meter, then area will be 1 into 1 meter square. And this dV is velocity, that is given by 0.1 meter, and our viscous force is 0.2. From this only unknown term is dx, and by solving this we get our dx, that is distance, and that will be 0.05 meter. That is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 100. Surface tension arises due to cohesive force between the molecule, that is option choice B. Because of cohesive force, molecules comes towards each other. Cohesive force means attraction, or the attractive force between the two same type of molecules. If they comes together, then surface area becomes less. Now let's move to question number 101. The internal energy of isothermal process is, we know that in isothermal process change in temperature is 0, because change in temperature is T2 minus T1 or T1 minus T2. In isothermal process temperature is always same, so change in temperature is 0. If change in temperature is 0, internal energy will be also 0, because internal energy is given by N into CV dt. So option choice C is the correct answer for question number 101. Now let's move to question number 102. 2 mole of an ideal gas are heated at a constant pressure from 27 degrees centigrade to 107 degrees centigrade. Calculate the work done by the gas. In this case, work done is given by nR dt. Our N is 2 mole and our R is 8.31, we already know, and dt is change in temperature. If we subtract this second temperature with first temperature, we get change in temperature, or we can convert this first temperature in Kelvin and second temperature in Kelvin. After converting them in Kelvin, we can again subtract and we get the same difference in temperature. After solving this, we get 1.33 into 10 to the power 3 joule, that is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 103. A Carnot engine takes this amount of heat from reservoir at this temperature and rejects the amount of heat to the reservoir at this. How much work is done? In this case, we need to find this. First is Q1 and T1 is this, and T1 we need to convert this T1 into corresponding Kelvin, and we get 227 plus 273 500 Kelvin, and T2 will be 400 Kelvin, and Q1 is in calorie, so calorie will be converted into joule, and we know that Q1 by Q2 is equal to T1 by T2. From this we get Q2, and Q1 minus Q2 is our answer, that is work done by, that is Q1 minus Q2 will be 840 joule. 840 joule is in option choice C. So option choice C is the correct answer for question number 103. Now let's move to question number 104. The thermodynamic process in which pressure of the system remains constant is called. Such process is called isobaric. Pressure of the system remains constant is called isobaric. Volume remains constant is called isochoric. Now let's move to question number 105. Kinetic theory of gas assumes that collision between the molecules are perfectly elastic, that is option choice B. For kinetic theory of gases assumes that collision between the molecule is perfectly elastic. Now let's move to question number 106. The efficiency of Carnot engine depends on temperature difference or temperature of source and sink, that is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 107. The first law of thermodynamics is the law of, we all know that first law of thermodynamics is the law of conservation of energy, that is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 108. The value of Cp divided by Cv for air at NTP is, its value is 1.4. Our Cp is this and Cv is this. By dividing these two quantities we get 1.4, that is option choice B. Now let's move to question number 109. The latent heat of fusion of ice is, 80 calorie per gram, that is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 110. The value of latent heat of vaporization is, 2.26 into 10 to the power 6 joule per kg. This is in SI unit, option choice D. Now let's move to question number 111. Boyle's law PV is equal to constant is applicable to the gas under, this expression is applicable only for the small range of pressures, that is option choice D. Now let's see question number 112. The thermodynamic system which can exchange only energy but not matter is called. This type of system is called closed system. If a system cannot exchange both energy and matter, that is called isolated system. If it can express both energy and matter, that is called open system. For this case, right answer is closed system, option choice B. Now let's move to question number 113. If the door of refrigerator is open, which of the following is true? The room is heated. You try to find the answer why room is heated when the door of refrigerator is open. Now let's move to question number 114. Work done is zero in isochoric process. Work done depends on change in volume, and change in volume is zero in isochoric process. So option choice C is the correct answer for question number 114. Now let's move to question number 115. A Carnot cycle contains, as we all know that Carnot cycle contains 2 isothermal and 2 adiabatic process, that is option choice D, 2 isothermal and 2 adiabatic process. Now let's move to question number 116. The most efficient engine is, among these 4, most efficient engine or engine having high efficiency is Carnot engine, option choice A. Now let's move to question number 117. The amount of heat generated per kg of fuel is known as, this is known as calorific value. Calorific value is the amount of heat generated per kg of fuel, option choice D. Now let's move to question number 118. Specific heat of dry air in joule per gram Kelvin is 1, that is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 119. For 20 degree change in temperature in Celsius scale, the change in temperature in Kelvin scale is 20 degree. Same. The change in temperature will be same. If we have to convert particular temperature in Kelvin scale, we need to add 273 in that degree centigrade. But change in temperature in Kelvin scale will be same as that of change in temperature in Celsius scale. In Celsius and Kelvin scale, difference will be same. Now let's move to question number 120. The variable that controls the physical property of perfect gas is, We know that pressure, volume and temperature are called thermodynamic variables because they controls the physical property of gas. So all of these is correct answer for question number 120. Now let's see question number 121. A wave has a speed 5 meter per second and a frequency of 100 hertz. What is its wavelength? We know that B is equal to E of lambda. Here our B is 5 meter per second and E of is 100 hertz. By solving this we get our lambda, and lambda will be 0.05 meter. That is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 122. The distance between two nearest antinode or two nearest node in stationary wave is called wave is, that right answer for this question is lambda by 2. Distance between two nearest node. If this is a wave, the distance between these two nodes or these two antinodes, these are the nodes. So right answer for this question is lambda by 2. Lambda by 2 is the correct answer. Now let's see question number 123. The value of velocity of particle in stationary wave at node is, missing here, at node. So at node is 0. At node the velocity of particle is 0 and it increases towards antinode. Now let's move to question number 124. In longitudinal wave, the direction of vibration in the medium of particle is parallel to the propagation. In longitudinal wave, particle and wave moves in the same direction, so parallel to the propagation. In transverse wave, the direction of vibration in the medium of particle is perpendicular to the wave. The transverse wave start with T, and this is propagation of wave and this is vibration of particle. So they make 90 degree with each other. So option choice A is the correct one for question number 125. Now let's see question number 126. The velocity of sound is maximum in, we know that velocity of sound is maximum in metal. Option choice D. Now let's move to question number 127. A wave with frequency 100 Hz has a period of, we know that F is 1 by T or T is 1 by F. They are reciprocal to each other. So here our F is given, so T will be 1 by F, that will be 0.01 seconds. That is option choice A. Now let's move to question number 128. A radio station broadcast 300 kilohertz. What will be the wavelength of the wave? Let's see the solution. Speed of wave is 3 into 10 to the power 8 because it's saying radio wave. Radio wave are electromagnetic waves, so speed will be speed of light. And 300 kilohertz is frequency. 300 into 1000. This will be the hertz. This is kilo means 1000. So 3 into 10 to the power 5 hertz. We know that V is equal to F lambda. And from this we get our required lambda as 1000 meter. That is option choice A is the correct answer, 1000 meter. Now let's move to question number 129. A wavelength is distance between two nearest crest, distance between two nearest or neighboring trough, and distance between two neighboring point vibrating together. These all are correct, these all are true. So all of above is the correct answer for question number 129. Now let's move to question number 130. Which one is not true about transverse wave? If we see here, these waves produce a series of crest and trough in medium. This is true. Transverse wave can be polarized. This is also true. Waves producing in strings are transverse wave. This is also true. The waves can set up in all medium. This is false because transverse wave can be set up only in solid and stagnant surface of liquid. So option choice D is the correct answer for question number 130. Now let's move to question number 131. For an echo to be heard, the distance between the original sound and reflecting sound must be at least 17 meter. That is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 132. Which property of wave remains constant as wave passes from one medium to another medium? As wave passes from one medium to another medium, the property that remains constant is frequency. So that frequency is known as fundamental property of a wave. Now let's move to question number 133. Propagation of sound through air is adiabatic process, and this is also called Laplace correction. Laplace corrected the Newton's theory about propagation of sound through air. Now let's move to question number 134. Which one is not true? Sound travel faster in metal than air. This is true. Velocity of sound increases with increase in humidity. This is also true. velocity of sound increases with increase in temperature. This is also true. Velocity of sound increases with increase in pressure. This is wrong, because with pressure velocity of sound remains constant. It does not depend on pressure. Now let's move to question number 135. Velocity of sound is not affected by the direction of wind if we know that if wind is blowing perpendicular to the direction of sound, then velocity of sound is not affected because of this relation. Resultant velocity is v plus velocity of wind times cos theta. This cos theta, in the place of cos theta, if you write cos 19, then this whole quantity will be 0. That is, if this quantity is 0, resultant velocity of sound will be exactly equal to the velocity of sound. So option choice C is the correct answer for question number 135. Now let's move to question number 136. The fundamental frequency, the frequency is missing in this question. Fundamental frequency of open pipe with length L is, correct answer for this question is V upon twice L. V upon twice L, option choice B. Now let's move to question number 137. The ratio of amplitudes of two waves is 3:4. The ratio of their intensity is, amplitude and intensity, how they are related? We need to see this. We know that I1 by I2 is equal to A1 square by A2 square. If I1 by I2 is 3:4, then if A1 and A2 are 3:4, then I1 by I2 will be 9:16. 3 square divided by 4 square. That is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 138. What is the value of threshold of hearing for a normal ear? We know that the value of threshold of hearing for normal ear is 1.0 into 10 to the minus 12 watt per meter square for a note of 1 kHz. This is called threshold of hearing. Now let's move to question number 139. In which medium sound is greatest, speed of sound is greatest? That is still or solid medium. The option choice D. Now let's move to question number 140. Pitch is the sensation produced by the sound that depends on its. Pitch always depends on frequency. Option choice C. Now let's move to question number 141. According to Huygens principle, light is a form of. According to Huygens principle, light is a form of wave. Light is a form of wave. Now let's move to question number 142. When interference of light takes place, then conservation of energy holds and energy is redistributed. Option choice is C. The energy coming from two slits will be redistributed in dark and bright fringe. That is, conservation of energy holds and energy is redistributed. Option choice C. Now let's move to question number 143. The refractive index of water is 1.33. What will be speed of light in water? We know that refractive index is given by velocity of light in air or vacuum to the velocity of light in medium. Our mu is 1.33 and we know our C is 3 into 10 to the power 8. It is talking about light and V is equal to what? By solving this we get our V. V will be 2.26 into 10 to the power 8. That is option choice A. Now let's move to question number 144. Color appears on a thin soap film and on soap bubbles due to phenomenon of interference. Because of interference, the thin soap bubbles appears. Now let's move to question number 145. A short pulse of white light is incident from air to a glass slab. After traveling through the slab, first color that comes out is red, because red has greatest speed. Now let's move to question number 146. In diffraction experiment with light wave, the size of obstacle in path would be, or diffraction to occur, the wavelength of light must be in the order of, in the size of obstacle, that is 10 to the power minus 7 meter. That is the order of wavelength of visible light. So if obstacle is also in the same order, then light will be diffracted. Now let's move to question number 147. The locus of all adjacent points at which the phase of vibration of wave is same is called, this is called wave fronts. And there are different types of wave fronts. Which of the following does not support the wave nature of light? We know that interference, diffraction and polarization, they are the consequence or result of a wave nature of light. They support the wave nature of light, but photoelectric effect does not support the wave nature of light. Light coming from sun to earth in the form of which wave front? That is plane wave front. If a light is coming from a point source, that is spherical wave front. If a light is coming from a linear source, then that is a cylindrical wave front. but light coming from the sun to earth is plane wave front. Now let's move to question number 150. Light has a wave nature, but it appears to be propagated along a straight line because the wavelength of light is very small. If wavelength is small, then it appears to be traveling in a straight line. Now let's move to question number 151. Two sources of light is said to be coherent if if they produced wave of same wavelength having a constant initial phase difference. Option choice C is the correct one for question number 151. Now let's move to question number 152. In an interference experiment, the spacing between two successive maxima and minima is given by option choice A, lambda capital D by small d. This is called slit screen separation. This is called separation between two slits. For a phase difference, lambda path difference is, we know that for a phase difference lambda path difference is 2 pi. That is option choice B. Now let's move to next question. When light is polarized by reflection, the angle between reflected and refracted ray is 90 degree. That is option choice D. Now let's move to next question. According to Brester's law, the refractive index mu is equal to tangent of angle of polarization. That is option choice A. Now let's move to next question. Polarization of light conclusively proves that light are transverse wave. Lights are transverse wave. Longitudinal wave cannot be polarized. Polarization of light means they are transverse wave. 157. Which of the following does not support the wave nature of light? We already discussed this question. Option choice D is the correct answer for question number 157. Now let's move to question 158. In Young's double slit experiment using a light of wavelength 6 nanometer, this lambda is 6 nanometer means 6 into 10 to the power minus 9 meter. Nano means this. And slits were 0.3 millimeter apart. This is slit separation small d. Small d is 0.3 into millimeter means 10 to the power minus 3 meter. And this is slit screen separation, that is capital D. Now we know our formula, lambda small d divided by capital D, and our answer will be 4 into 10 to the power minus 5 meter. That is option choice A. Now let's move to question number 159. The resolving power of telescope is equal to, that is A divided by 1.22 times lambda. Option choice B. Now let's move to next question. The dispersion of diffraction grating indicates separation of line of the same order. Option choice B. Now let's move to next question. Magnetic effect of current was discovered by, as we all know that magnetic effect of current was discovered by Oersted. Option choice B. Now let's see 162. An EMF 5 volt is produced by a self inductance when the current changes at a steady rate from 3 ampere to 2 ampere in 1 millisecond. The value of self induction is, now let's solve this question. We know that E is equal to 5 volt. Change in current is 3 minus 2 is equal to 1 ampere, and dt is 1 millisecond is 0.001 second, and our formula is E is equal to L di by dt. By substituting this all quantity, we get L as 0.005 Henry, that is 5 millihenry. That is option choice B. 0.005 Henry means 5 into 10 to the power minus 3 Henry, that is 5 millihenry. Now let's move to question number 163. Magnetic field is caused by, as we all know that magnetic field is caused by a moving negative charge and moving positive charge. So both B and C are correct answer for question number 163. Now let's see question number 164. A dynamo always converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. Option choice D is the correct answer for question number 164. Now let's move to question number 165. To induced EMF in a coil, the magnetic flux linking must change. Change means either it can increase or either it can decrease. That is option choice D. Can either increase or decrease. Option choice D. Now let's move to question number 166. Lenz law gives, we all know that statement of Lenz law. So Lenz law gives the direction of induced EMF, that is option choice C. Now let's move to 167. If E0 is the peak value of AC supply, the root mean square value is, if E0 is the peak value of supply, the root mean square value is E0 divided by root under 2. That is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 168. The power of a bulb is 100 watt at 220 volt. When the voltage is 110 volt, power of the bulb is here. We are provided with this Let's start with this formula at first. Power is equal to IV, that is V square by R. Question is not saying anything about R, so R is constant. P is directly proportional to V square, means P1 by P2 is equal to V1 square by V2 square. This is P1, this is V1. We need to find P2, this is V2. By solving this, we get 25 watt, that is option choice D. Now let's move to question number 169. The power of two heater coil is P1 and P2. If they are connected in series, the resultant power is. In this case, right answer will be option choice C, because in series combination 1 by power effective is 1 by P1 plus 1 by P2. By solving this, we get option choice C. Now let's move to question number 170. A capacitor of capacitance 50 microfarad is charged to 10 volt. The energy is equal to. This microfarad means 50 into 10 to the power minus 6 farad, and we know energy of capacitor is half CV square, half CV square. By substituting the value of C and B, we get our required answer is 2.5 into 10 to the power, I think 10 to the power minus 2 joule must be answer. Here is 10 to the minus 3. Just do calculation and find the answer for this question number 170. And formula is half CV square. Now let's move to question number 171. What is the diameter of an atom? We all know that the diameter of an atom is in the order of 10 to the power minus 10 meter. That is option choice A. Option choice A is the correct answer for question number 171. Now let's see question number 172. Which of the following is natural magnet? We all know that natural magnet is lodestone. A lodestone is a naturally magnetized piece of mineral. They are naturally occurring magnet which can attract the iron, and they are used. They were used in the navigation system of boats and ships. Question number 173. The ability of material to conduct magnetic flux through it is called permeability. That is option choice D, permeability. Now let's see question number 174. Tesla is unit of. We know that Tesla is unit of magnetic flux density, option choice B. Now let's see question number 175. The direction of magnetic line of force is. The direction of magnetic line of force always start from north and it ends in south. North to south, N to yes, north to south. In left hand rule, the forefinger always represents. In left hand rule, forefinger always represents. If we see this forefinger, it always represents magnetic field. That is option choice D. Now let's see question number 177. The magnetic force on a current carrying conductor of length L placed in a magnetic field B by an angle theta is. Correct answer for this question is F is equal to BIL sin theta. F is equal to BIL sin theta is in option choice A. Now let's move to question number 178. To induce EMF in a coil, the magnetic flux linking must change. That is either increase or decrease. That is option choice D. Now let's move to question number 179. Tesla is unit of magnetic flux density. Magnetic flux density. I think this is repeated one. Now let's move to question number 180. The production of EMF by maintaining a difference of temperature between two junctions of dissimilar metal is called. Let us take this is one metal and this is another metal. And if we have two junctions, this is junction 1 and this is junction 2. If this is in cold temperature and this is in hot temperature, then EMF start to flow in this coil, in this dissimilar metal. Such phenomenon is called Seebeck effect. Seebeck effect. Question number answer for question number 180 is Seebeck effect, option choice B. Now let's see question number 181. Specific charge of an electron is. We know that specific charge is ratio of charge to mass. For electron, charge is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb and mass is 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. By dividing this, we get 1.76 into 10 to the power 11 coulomb per kg. That is option choice A. Option choice A is the correct answer for question number 181. Now let's move to question number 182. Which relation is correct one? In this question, we need to find the relation of specific charge of electron with that of proton. We know that specific charge of electron is E upon ME, and specific charge of proton is E upon MP. Now let us compare, let us divide them. This E and E will cancel each other, MP goes up and ME comes down. And we know that MP means mass of proton. Mass of one proton is equal to 1835 times of mass of electron. These two cancels with each other. So mass specific charge of electron is 1835 times of specific charge of proton. That is option choice A. Option choice A is the correct one. Now let's move to question number 183. The specific charge of cathode ray is, we know that specific charge of cathode rays are same like as electron. Specific charge of electron is constant, so specific charge of cathode ray is also constant. That is option choice A. Now let's move to question number 184. Mass of alpha particle is, we know that this is symbol of alpha particle. Its mass number is 4, so its mass will be 4 times mass of proton, and we know that mass of proton is 1.67 into 10 to the minus 27 kg. If we multiply this by 4, then our answer will be 6.6 into 10 to the minus 27 kg. That is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 185. The ratio of specific charge of proton to that of alpha particle is, this is very important question. Specific charge of proton is this, and specific charge of alpha particle is charge of alpha particle to the mass of alpha particle. If we divide them, charge of alpha particle is twice E and mass of alpha particle is 4 times mp. E and E will cancel here, mp and mp will cancel here, and final answer will be 2:1. That is option choice D. Now let's move to question number 186. The phenomenon of photoelectric effect was explained by Einstein. Einstein explained this phenomenon correctly in 1921, so he won Nobel Prize in photoelectric effect. That is option choice C. Now let's move to question number 187. In photoelectric effect, light energy is converted into electrical energy. At first, photo means light comes and electrons are emitted. So light energy is converted into electrical energy in photoelectric effect. Question number 188. If an electron is accelerated through a potential difference B, then speed of electron will be. If electron is accelerated with potential difference B, then energy will be E into V. So this E into V gives necessary kinetic energy half mv square, and by solving this we get velocity is root under twice ev divided by m. This capital B is voltage, so root under twice ev by m is the right answer for question number 188. That is option choice A. Now let's move to question number 189. Penetrating power is highest for, we know that penetrating power is inversely proportional to mass, and penetrating power depends on charge as well. If charge is neutral, then it moves, it do not interact with any other material and it moves directly. So penetrating power is highest for gamma rays and lowest for alpha rays, because alpha rays is the heaviest among these. Now let's move to question number 190. Motion of electron in a uniform magnetic field perpendicular to the direction of motion is circular. Motion of electron in uniform electric field is parabolic, and motion of electron in a magnetic field, but direction is, if it is entering by making 0 degree or 180 degree, the direction will be, the path will be straight line. But for this case, motion of electron in a uniform magnetic field perpendicular to the direction of motion is circular. Question number 191. Energy of photon is, we know that energy of photon is hf, and f can be written as c by lambda as well. So answer for this question is option choice D, both A and B. Now let's move to question number 192. The threshold frequency of potassium is this, the work function is, we know that work function is Planck's constant times h times f naught, and f naught is 3 into 10 to the power 14, and we know our value for h, Planck's constant, is 6.62 into 10 to the minus 34. By multiplying this we get 2.0 into 10 to the minus 19 joule, which is in option choice B. Now let's see question number 193. Which gate is known as inverter? Not gate is known as inverter, because if we get 0 input it will give 1 output. If we give 1 input it will give 0 output. It inverts the given input. So not gate is known as inverter. Not gate, it inverts the input. X-ray does not show which phenomenon. X-ray shows interference, diffraction, polarization, but they do not deflect by electric field because they are chargeless. So option choice D is the correct answer for question number 194. Now let's move to question number 195. In an atom, a revolving electron has, both kinetic and potential energies, and sum of kinetic and potential energies gives the total energy of electron in an atom. Now let's move to question number 196. When an electron enters in a magnetic field, electron revolves in a circular path with radius. We know that energy of electron is in a magnetic field is BeV, and this amount of force, this is called magnetic force. This is not energy, this is magnetic force. which is balanced by mv square by r. This is centripetal force. This v and v will cancel each other, and r will be given by m into v by eb. That is mero bhai engineer banos. That is option choice A is the correct answer for question number 196. You can use mnemonics r is equal to mero bhai engineer banos. Now let us move to question number 197. Which one is wrong about photon? They have no electric charge. This is true. They travel with this velocity of light. This is also true. A photon is the smallest discrete amount or quantum of electromagnetic radiation. This is also true. Their spin is 0. This is false. In fact, spin of photon is 1. Now let's move to question number 198. A diode as a rectifier converts AC into DC, because rectification is the process of conversion of AC into DC, which is done by diode. So option choice A is the correct answer for question number 198. Now let's move to question number 199. Which gates are called universal gates? NAND gates and NOR gates. NAND gates and NOR gates are called universal gates because by using their combination we can get all other basic gates. So by using multiple times AND gates and NOR gate, we get all other different gates. So they are called universal gates. Now let's move to last question of this video. For the natural radioactivity phenomenon to occur, atomic weight must be more than 206. If in an atom, atomic weight is more than 206, there will be more proton in nucleus. If there are more proton, more repulsive force between this proton will give us different type of alpha, beta and gamma radiations, which is called radioactivity. Thank you very much.